something that's still kind of, while we've been busy and distracted with FIFA, all of this has still been happening in the background.
Yes, and I think it's going to go on like this for some time. It's kind of reminiscent of the end phases of the Vietnam War in some ways, although it's been nowhere near as large a conflict. There are negotiations going on while the bombing goes on. There's bombing going on while the negotiations go on. But at some point, there will have to be a recognition that Trump simply can't get the victory that he wanted out of this. And of course, the pressure is building on him, as he said in one of his statements, because the midterm elections are coming. He's accused Iran of wanting to influence the midterm elections by keeping the conflict going. Of course, they didn't start it in the first place. There's now pressure in Congress. Democrats are going to try and put down a vote forcing the Republicans to vote to continue the war, which of course will be very unpopular. So I would say that despite yet another show of American military might, the politics isn't really working for Donald Trump.
And I see that there's a lot of stress around petrol at the moment as well. Anyhow, we'll go over to our next story of the day, which takes us to Italy. Italy's Meloni slams protesters following clashes in Bologna. This is from Al Jazeera.
Yes, this is in response to the Italian police restraining and killing a Moroccan immigrant, Abdulrahim Fakir, in Bologna. And these protests are a response to this. As the protesters say, it looks as if ICE methods of policing are being imported from the United States into Italy. Meloni, of course, is a far-right political leader. She and others are saying, oh, the police have got to do their job, it'll all be fully investigated. But we've heard this before. We heard this over George Floyd in the United States, and I'm not surprised that there's a very powerful social movement in Italy. I'm not surprised at all that they've been demonstrating for 2 nights now in Bologna.
I mean, it's a horrible thing that's happened, but there is a situation there as well with the in terms of immigrants coming in, and I think that there's a lot of issues with Italy and the government there as well with the influx of immigrants. But nevertheless, it's an awful thing to happen, and let's hope something could be resolved or for the family. Anyhow, we are going to go to our next story, which is energy drinks to be banned for under 16s in England from April.
Yes, well, I mean, the argument is that young people are particularly vulnerable. They're still growing, their brains are still changing, that some of the very high caffeine content energy drinks are damaging for them, and that's why this ban is being proposed.
I mean, to be honest, I only ever see young people drinking these drinks. When I'm on my way early in the morning, or if I'm dropping my own children to school, I see a lot of young students drinking this drink, energy drinks. First thing, I mean, it's a terrible drink to begin with, and then to be drinking it first thing in the morning. And I saw somebody just yesterday in the gym, a young boy, I think looked around 14. You know, he was working out in the gym and he was drinking an energy drink, one of the ones that we just kind of saw on the screen. And I just felt like saying, like, what are you doing? What's it doing to you? Then I thought, oh, God, it's such a mum thing to do, to just tell him that, you know, how bad it is for him. But it is actually, it is significantly damaging. Not only is it these sugary fizzy drinks, but these energy drinks specifically are very unhealthy for you.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that it's particularly unhealthy for young people. I can't see that it's much good for anybody.
Yeah.
And as we've discussed many times when it talks about regulating industry, the way this will work is that retailers will be fined up to £2,500. But this could be solved much more easily by not dealing with whatever the corner shop is doing, but dealing with what the producers of these drinks are doing in the first place. All you've got to do is to regulate to say that high caffeine drinks shouldn't be produced, and that any manufacturer which does this will be breaking the law, and you've solved the problem. I don't know that chasing down and finding it every corner shop in Ilford or wherever is going to really work.
I mean, it's never really the product producers that are ever prosecuted. It's always a sign or a label or restrictions on the people that are selling it. But it's the same thing with all the other stuff. But I don't know. We'll find out more about this, hopefully. But I do hope that people watching today will realise how those drinks can affect you. I do know somebody who had, I think, 4 in one day, and then we had to call an ambulance because of the increased palpitations. Anyhow, we're going to go to the next story, which is NHS manager says trust wanted 4,000 reports gone.
Well, this is the ongoing investigation, the Lampard inquiry into the deaths in care in Manchester. This is one of the workers from that trust giving evidence, saying that he was instructed to simply dump 4,000 reports. I've got to say his evidence is very convincing. Obviously, the managers in those trusts simply wanted to get rid of the backlog and told him to get rid of them. And he, very bravely, I think, said, you know, I can't investigate these properly. I'm not just going to write them off and close the cases when I haven't had the time or the staff to be able to investigate what was going on properly. So good for him.
I mean, he is brave to stand up and say this. It is an awful thing if it comes to light, you know, on behalf of NHS. I mean, to get rid of reports like that. But let's see how that pans out. We'll go to our next story, which is hunger is falling. Hunger is falling, but is still higher than pre-COVID levels, UN report.
Yes, I mean, there's a very interesting graph in this running back way before the COVID pandemic. And really what that graph shows is that the figure is pretty constant. I mean, it goes up a bit, it comes down a bit, but to be honest, there's not a significant change in the figures here. They fell a little bit before COVID, they rose a bit after COVID, they've fallen back a little bit now, but we're not talking about huge changes here.
Yeah, well, let's hope things improve for the better. I mean, what a thing to compare it to COVID. Thank God that period is over. But thank you so much, John, for giving us updates to what's happening in the news and in the world of politics here and around the world. And well, we are going to go for a quick commercial break, but don't go anywhere because we've got other guests coming up. But anyhow, we are going to go to, before the break actually, we're going to have a discussion which focuses on a subject that touches many families and communities. Motherhood is one of the life's greatest blessings, but it can also come with significant challenges that often go unseen. Today we're taking a closer look at the Motherkind report by Muslim Hands, which explores the experiences of mothers and the importance of ensuring they receive the support they need. I mean, it's a battle for all the mothers, really, isn't it? But joining us is Asira Javed, a senior press officer at Muslim Hands. So we're going to give her a quick warm welcome. Assalamu alaikum, Saira.
Walaikum salam.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Salaam, Britain. It's exciting to always have a guest with us, and obviously something very important such as this. And being a mother myself, it is very close to my heart. So let's get into this. What is this Motherkind report? What is this all about, and where did this inspiration come from?
So Muslim Hands has been working in the maternal space now for 15 years. And shockingly, every 2 minutes, a mother dies from a maternal death. So for us, it was to establish Motherkind clinics in fragile countries in the world, and that includes Afghanistan and in Somalia, who have the highest rates of maternal mortality in the world. And so for us, it was to establish these clinics to provide a holistic approach to maternal health, and that's during pregnancy, that's once the mother gives birth and after she gives birth. And our services include vaccinations, it includes pre- and postnatal care, it includes vaccinations, education around nutrition. So it's a holistic approach to provide these mothers that don't have access to maternal care, you know, the care that they deserve.
So these programs are, as you said, it's a holistic way of helping a lot of these women in these countries, such as Afghanistan and Somalia. Do you think it's because they don't have women doctors or clinics? Is it because they want? I'm not suggesting that home births are like this, because a lot of people have home births even in Western countries, because it's a choice you can make. But do you think it's to do with that?
Yeah, so in Afghanistan, for example, the traditional way of giving birth is at home. You normally have a female elder that will support you in that. But unfortunately, in Afghanistan, every 70 minutes, a mother passes away. And that is because of a lack of education. It could be due to complications. And so for us, we have community health workers that educate these women and their families to say, come to a hospital. This is the care that you will receive. And it's just providing education about what, you know, giving birth involves, what are the complications around it, what they can do to, you know, better support themselves through nutrition or through vitamins and supplements and medicines. So really it is a community effort. It involves the, you know, the community health workers working within the community to serve the mothers. And it's also providing an education to say, we do have a maternal health clinic and this is how it works. So yeah, it's a collective approach, I would say.
It's interesting though how something so big as you know, giving life, or you know, a mother you know, giving birth to a child is overlooked as something that's not seen as a humanitarian need. And you know, so tell me a little bit more about the program. How soon does the program start? Is it from when the woman is pregnant, or is it a bit later towards the end? And then how long does it continue, the support after birth?
Yeah, so the support is very much when a woman is pregnant. And so it's really important to kind of note that Muslim Hands doesn't just work in isolation in maternal health. So, for example, we provide food parcels, emergency aid. So sometimes we may identify a mother through that and you know, see that she's pregnant and that, you know, we do have a maternal health clinic. So we would let them know to come to our services. And so from that moment onwards, they will receive scans, they will receive blood work as well, just to see if they have diabetes or anemia. If they are in need of supplements, we would provide that. We actually have a pharmacy within our premises as well. I've seen it in Somalia with my very own eyes. We also have it in Afghanistan as well. And then throughout that whole journey, it's just making sure there's regular checkups for the mother as well. And then once she gives birth at our clinic, now do bear in mind that a lot of these mothers, they live in rural areas as well. They've never been to a hospital before. I've actually spoken to mothers as well, where they've said this is the first time. I've asked about their experiences with mothers that have actually given birth, and they said they had an amazing experience. You know, having a midwife there is something that they've never had before, and it's really important to bear in mind that 67% of maternal deaths can be avoided with having a skilled midwife there. So that's really important for us, you know, to have that during the birthing process. And then after that, once they've given birth to their baby, again, it's those regular checkups again, making sure that mum and baby are okay. If there's vitamins or just, you know, advice needed, then they're able to have that. And the other thing is nutrition as well. So we do also provide a family food parcel for mums as well, so they can have, you know, all the nutrients that they need and that they're able to breastfeed their child, because without adequate food, they're not able to do that.
Yeah.
So, you know, as I've mentioned, Muslim Hands has been working in the maternal space now for 15 years. And throughout that journey, we've invested and we've provided more and more services to mothers, you know, as we've identified what the needs are.
The thing is, Sarah, I'm just wondering, obviously, some of these areas you said are rural, so they must be very, you know, are you able to get to all the remote kind of areas? It must be difficult to reach out to these women.
Yes.
And also sometimes they are very of the mindset, you know, okay, maybe with another woman they're fine, obviously, you know, but coming to a clinic or anything that's been set up, because they are used to, or maybe, you know, it's not accepted, you know, to come out the house at that time and stuff. So how do you convince them?
That's where our community health workers come in. That's where it's very much a collective approach. You know, Muslim Hands has been working in these countries for decades. And not only do we work in the maternal space, we work in other areas such as providing emergency aid, you know, water wells. So it's that trust that we've built. And we also do work with other organisations in order to push forward our projects as well. And again, it's just advocacy, it's awareness as well. So through our community health workers, have we been able to encourage and give the confidence to these mums to say, look, we have this service, and even to their husbands to say it's important, because without coming to the Motherkind Clinic, there is a possibility that, you know, your wife might pass away. So it's just about that education. It's about breaking those barriers down. It's about bridging that gap. And, you know, our clinic in Afghanistan, for example, has been there in Bulacharki for 15 years. And so people have been able to see that, you know, word of mouth, other mothers talking to other mothers saying this is the service that they received. You know, that experience of giving birth and having their child. So I think all of that collectively has put that trust in those mothers and their families to say, actually, you know, we do want to give birth. We do want to go to the Motherkind Clinic. The other point is our community health workers have broken a lot of stigma. Initially, they had said, you know, we weren't well received. You know, the door would be slammed in our face. But over time, they've noticed that actually they're here to help. They're not here to judge or, you know, do anything else. And so that's really broken barriers. And I know that one of the ladies who's a community health worker said that when she goes to events, they reserve a seat for her because they know the important job that she's doing. So, you know, I think it's time, isn't it? It's time. It's just, you know, raising awareness and just keep knocking on that door until, you know, you break down those barriers and people are comfortable with you.
Absolutely. I mean, I took a trip last year to Afghanistan, and that was one of the things that they kept mentioning, and it was the men that were saying it, that we don't have enough women doctors, we don't have enough women medical staff, and we really want to encourage that. We really want to bring that in. We want to really get our women that support and education. So that's something that's really much needed there. But and we're also very familiar with Muslim Hand Charity. It's a really great charity doing great things. But I do wonder that, you know, is there other support as well? So, you know, sometimes after pregnancy, women tend to get a little bit depressed or postnatal depression or something else, but some sort of emotional, you know, mental support. Do they get that as well?
Yes, they do. So, again, that's through our training with our midwives and community health workers who provide that support. You know, they've being able to deliver children, and so they know what the mother needs and requires that maybe the husbands are not necessarily able to provide them with. And so for us, again, as I've mentioned, it's just working together to be able to, you know, really holistically give that mum what she needs.
I mean, that's great, that is, and hopefully may it be a success. I mean, you guys have also, you know, other than Somalia, Afghanistan, you've also gone to Bangladesh and Gaza even. Obviously, that must be quite difficult as well, because it's not just the mindset of people, but it is what you can provide in a situation that's constantly ongoing conflict, and probably in refuge tents or those kind of environments. It can't be easy. But is is Muslim Aid training these women local women, or are they women that are going from here over there? How does it work in terms of these women that are helping, assisting, and with the birth? Are they from here, or, as I said, are they women that are local to the country?
Yeah. So these women are part of the country that they're from, and they are trained. Muslim Hands doesn't necessarily train these women, but when we establish our clinics, these women then do come and offer their services as well. As, you know, like in the UK, when there's a clinic, people, you know, apply for their role, and in that way. So, for example, in the work that we do in Gaza, we are working in partnership with the UN in order to support in the salaries of those medical workers as well. So that's how we work in Gaza. And then through our clinics in Afghanistan, in Somalia, these are skilled individuals that have gone to university, have got the medical training, and then are able to support us with our projects and our clinics. And so that's how these women, and the midwives and the community health workers, are able to facilitate us. And then with the community health workers, again, they've gone through education as well. And then our midwives and our medical staff do support them too, so that they're able to reach more women, are more confident within their role, and in essence, to save lives.
Fantastic. And obviously that comes with not only a skilled, qualified person, but all the equipment.
Yes.
And so, you know, people watching today, you know, tell us, how can we be more involved? And I mean, obviously there must be things that are needed, you know, sterile equipment and things that need to be used. Oh God, just the thought of it all. But how could somebody watching today be help with this kind of program?
Yeah, you know, having actually gone to Yemen and Somalia, I've actually seen the projects myself and how they've made such a massive difference. And I think the first point is awareness. You know, when we think of emergency zones and conflicts and climate change and how they're impacting people, we forget that there are women that are pregnant and, you know, the maternal space as well. So for us, it's just to raise awareness that, you know, the maternal side of things does need more education, more awareness and more funds. So what I would say to donors, because without them our projects wouldn't exist, we're 100% reliant on donations from our donors, is go on our website, find out what we're doing in the maternal space, raise awareness with your friends and family, do read our report, you know, how we're giving hope to mothers, and that, you know, for Muslim hands, you know, we don't want maternal care to be a privilege. We want it to be a right. Every woman, no matter where she's from, deserves to have adequate maternal care. So please do read the report. Please do spread that with friends and family. Do go on our website, look at our Mother Kind appeal. We do so much. We a few years ago raised £30,000 to provide equipment to our Somalia clinic, and we do have state-of-the-art equipment in Yemen and in Afghanistan in terms of scan machines and things like that. But the other side of it,
quite a big thing.
Exactly. But the other side of it, the other side of it is medical medicines, you know, vitamins, supplements, those kind of things that are overlooked. So we're looking at, you know, on our website you will see that there are packages, but that's how we want our people to support. There's also a package of running the clinic for a day. So there's different ways that people can get involved, but I think the first thing is look at our report, look at what we're saying, what we have done, what we've achieved, because last year alone we've supported 275,000 women and babies throughout our project work, you know, and that is down to our donors allowing us to be able to run a project like this. So for us, it's just continuing that and just ensuring that as many mothers are seen, because, you know, it's shocking that every 2 minutes a mother dies.
Yeah, and
it's
something,
and that shouldn't be.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And it was something that could be really easily resolved.
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit about the reaction. I mean, I know you've already kind of touched on it, but what about in Somalia or in Yemen? What kind of reaction has there been from the women and the men about having these?
Just gratefulness. Just so, you know, there was a woman that I met, her name was Harwell, and she had a baby called Dahabo, which meant gold. And I literally went to the clinic and I could see, didn't realise she was holding a baby until I kind of peered closer, and she's holding this beautiful baby. And she had travelled over 100 kilometres to, you know, from a rural place that she was from to come to Mogadishu for a better way of life. She walked pregnant. And when she arrived to one of the camps that was by our clinic that actually homes 500,000 people. So you can imagine the scale. You know,
so she started walking when she was still pregnant.
Yeah, it took her weeks to get there, and she got to Mogadishu. Our team realised that she was pregnant and wanted her to be looked over. That's when she came to our clinic. That's where she gave birth, and that's where she had the checkups of how she's doing and her baby. And she was just so grateful. This was the first time that she actually gave birth at a clinic. She had never done that before. You know, as I mentioned, in rural areas, it's normally you give birth at home. But just
how daunting.
It's just
so
grateful.
Daunting. Just the thought. Just the thought. I mean, even if it's a home birth, but when you imagine it without it being assisted or a person who knows what they're doing is qualified, it's a really scary thing to go through.
Yeah.
And you can imagine if it's someone who's, you know, never had a child. It's the first time as well.
Yeah.
It's very traumatic.
Yeah.
It can be traumatic even after, but at least you have an idea of how it could, you know, go. But for someone who's never gone through it, so it's great that Muslim Hands is doing this and is trying to help educate and bring the services to the women. And how have the men been about it?
Really positive.
Really?
In all honesty, yes, because, you know, we do have male doctors at our premises, and, you know, again, when it comes to Somalia, in all honesty, a lot of the men stay back to look after their land or to protect what they have. The women that I spoke to, they went in seek of safety with their children because it was the right thing to do. And they were on their own when they travelled, just with their kids and them on their own. They weren't in the presence of their partners, so it was difficult to kind of say what they would say.
Yeah.
But in regards to how they received the support that they got from our Motherkind clinics was just sheer gratitude and gratefulness. And also, it's important to note that they actually meet other mothers in a similar situation, so they have this kind of bond. Being able to speak to somebody in a similar situation, right, as you're waiting in the waiting room, is something that they probably don't necessarily have. But as I like to point out as well, with Muslim Hands, we provide a holistic approach as well, in the sense that these mums, I've seen again, receive a family food parcel, which is important when they've had a new family, when they've just had a new baby, you know, to be able to breastfeed their child. So yeah, just utter gratefulness for, you know, what we have provided them and then the support that they receive. And for them, it's new, isn't it? It's just, you know, kind of maybe in a kind of an out-of-body experience that they've never experienced this before. But
it sounds so strange to hear this, obviously, because we're so fortunate to have all of these facilities here, and but also not just the daunting, scary stuff of actually being in labour and having that support and having the right tools and medication, but you know that the circle before you you get like a group of women, and even after. Once again, about just being around a group of women who are mothers or becoming mothers, and they're not qualified, but they support each other.
Yeah.
But who is setting up these circles for them, and how to hold your child, how to wean your child, how to breastfeed your child, all of these things. I mean, is this all part of the programme?
Yeah, so in terms of our community health workers and our midwives, they're the ones that provide this support. But if they didn't know about these clinics, they wouldn't be able to have those conversations as well. And it's important to note that the community health workers actually go to the homes of these women to give them advice if they're not necessarily being able to go out and go to the clinic, or, you know, it's in a rural area. So our community health workers are bridging that gap just to let them know that they're not alone, that there is support out there, and they can really rely on their community health worker to provide that. But when they do come to our clinics, from what I've seen personally, I've seen mums interact with each other, speak to, you know, each other how their day is and just about their baby and what's been happening and the developments. And, you know, the other thing is that medication, a lot of these people don't know, a lot of these women, these mothers didn't know about vitamins and things like that because they're from rural parts of the country. So everything is very much new, but the staff there are there to help them. And, you know, as I've mentioned, just to let them know that they're not alone.
Brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. But, you know, Sarah, we are going to talk more on this, but we're going to go for a quick commercial break. But don't go anywhere, because we're going to be talking much more about this, and we'll see you very soon. How's that go? Have a drink.
How did you ensure that whatever you're writing is true to the core of, you know, a person's experience?
In today's world, with so much happening, a lot of people love art, and that's it's an escapism, but it also speaks to deep-rooted need for people to do art, to make art. All the books that I read with Muslim characters, we were always shoved inside a very small, tight box with no room to breathe.
Nida Trust presents the National Muslim Teachers Awards 2026.
Good evening and a very warm welcome.
We will start this evening's awards ceremony with a recitation of the Quran.
Allah has created all other creation by just the word kun fayakun, which means be and it is. But there's one creation that Allah has left behind, and that is the human being. And that human being is shaped by Allah's hand.
Being a teacher is a very important responsibility. Teachers guide, support, and inspire others.
The National Muslim Teachers Awards 2026.
Start your day right with the UK's first Muslim morning show, Salaam Britain,
where we dive into the trending stories that matter to you.
Share recipes from around the globe that will ignite your senses.
Celebrate guests that are making waves.
And showcase the diversity that makes our ummah beautiful.
Pick of the Week has returned. Come and join us each week as we showcase the best highlights from our daily programming at 5:30 p.m. every Sunday on Islam Channel.
Five Pillars is not just any ordinary game show. It's a unique platform to deepen our understanding of Islam and strengthen our connection with our faith.
Looking to win.
50 points. Give that to me.
Oh my God, I don't know.
Pass. Pass as well.
The losing team out that way.
Islam Channel, your gateway to the world of Islam. Inspiring, informing, entertaining. On TV, online, on our brand new state-of-the-art apps. With original content for a Muslim audience and inspirational Islamic programs from all around the Muslim world. Watch live, watch offline, create your playlist, watch across all devices. Download now from wherever you usually get your apps. Islam Channel. Watch anytime, anywhere.
Your opportunity to challenge the status quo. You call in and set the narrative. Every Tuesday and Wednesday at 9 p.m. on Islam Channel. Islam Channel. Join us to discuss hot topics dominating the headline.
How did you ensure that whatever you're writing is true to the core of, a person's experience?
In today's world with so much happening, a lot of people love art, and it's an escapism, but it also speaks to deep-rooted need for people to do art, to make art. All the books that I read with Muslim characters, we were always shoved inside a very small, tight box with no room to breathe.
Nida Trust presents the National Muslim Teachers Awards 2026.
Good evening and a very warm welcome.
We will start this evening's awards ceremony with a recitation of the Quran.
Allah has created all other creation by just the word kun fayakun, which means be and it is. But there's one creation that Allah has left behind, and that is the human being. And that human being is shaped by Allah's hand.
Being a teacher is a very important responsibility. Teachers guide, support, and inspire others.
The National Muslim Teachers Awards 2026.
Start your day right with the UK's first Muslim morning show, Salaam Britain,
where we dive into the trending stories that matter to you.
Share recipes from around the globe that will ignite your senses.
Celebrate guests that are making waves.
And showcase the diversity that makes our ummah beautiful.
Pick of the Week has returned. Come and join us each week as we showcase the best highlights from our daily programming at 5:30 p.m. every Sunday on Islam Channel.
Five Pillars is not just any ordinary game show. It's a unique platform to deepen our understanding of Islam and strengthen our connection with our faith.
I'm keen to win.
50 points. Give that to me.
Oh my god, I don't know.
Pass. Pass because we hold it.
The losing team out that way.
Islam Channel, your gateway to the world of Islam. Inspiring, informing, entertaining. On TV, online, on our brand new state-of-the-art apps. With original content for a Muslim audience and inspirational Islamic programs from all around the Muslim world. Watch live, watch offline, create your playlist, watch across all devices. Download now from wherever you usually get your apps. Islam Channel. Watch anytime, anywhere.
Your opportunity to challenge the status quo. You call in and set the narrative. Every Tuesday and Wednesday at 9 p.m. on Islam Channel. Islam Channel. Join us to discuss hot topics dominating the headlines. Your opportunity to challenge the status quo. You call in and set the narrative. Every Tuesday and Wednesday at 9 p.m. on Islam Channel. Islam Channel. Join us to discuss hot topics dominating the headlines.
Pick of the Week has returned. Come and join us each week as we showcase the best highlights from our daily programming at 5:30 p.m. every Sunday on Islam Channel.
Your opportunity to challenge the status quo. You call in and set the narrative. Every Tuesday and Wednesday at 9 p.m. on Islam Channel. Islam Channel. Join us to discuss hot topics dominating the headline.
Pick of the Week has returned. Come and join us each week as we showcase the best highlights from our daily programming at 5:30 p.m. every Sunday on Islam Channel.
Your opportunity to challenge the status quo. You call in and set the narrative. Every Tuesday and Wednesday at 9 p.m. on Islam Channel. Islam Channel. Join us to discuss hot topics dominating the headline.
Pick of the Week has returned. Come and join us each week as we showcase the best highlights from our daily programming at 5:30 p.m. every Sunday on Islam Channel.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh, and welcome back to Salaam Britain this morning. I am your host Shaz, and just before the break we were having a very interesting conversation about a very much needed cause, and I was speaking to Saira Javed, who is a senior press officer at Muslim Hands. So let's go back and continue that conversation. So Assalamu alaikum, Saira.
Wa alaikum salam, Shaz.
And yeah, we were having a very interesting conversation on air and off air, and just, you know, how important this program, Mother program by Muslim Hands, is helping, supporting a lot of women in countries like Afghanistan, Somalia, Yemen and Bangladesh, and just helping women pre-birth and after birth in how to take care of themselves and their little ones, and being Muslim Hands being at the forefront of giving nutrients and, you know, vaccines and or medication and, you know, all of these programs. But, you know, just a little, you know, because you have been on the ground yourself, a little bit about your own experience and how that made you feel.
Yeah, you know, we were talking about this as well off air, that, you know, how privileged of a position that we're in to be able to go to these countries and, you know, in essence, be the voice for the voiceless. A lot of these women have never, you know, spoken to anyone else, you know, from another country to be able to talk about their needs and their wants. And, you know, they are so grateful for the work that we are doing on the ground in terms of providing maternal care to them, but also going back and raising vital funds so that these important projects continue to exist. And so, as we mentioned prior to the break, that, you know, majority of maternal deaths are avoidable, preventable. And so for us, it's so important for us to really kind of raise awareness of what the situation is on the ground, especially what I've seen in Somalia and in Yemen, and to really bring that back into to raise awareness through, you know, our donors and our supporters to raise funds for these projects.
It is funny how strange that is underlooked as not something that's important. We see lots of causes on screen. We see on national TV, national news, and international as well. You know, there's these wars and famines and conflicts and all of that. So something like this can get kind of like pushed at the back. Oh, you know, everyone's having children. It's okay. Women give birth. It's normal. But if there's such a high number of deaths and it's avoidable, why would anyone not want to be part of making that change? And, you know, we were talking a little bit about how important a role is for a Muslim mother in Islam. Yeah. And, you know, it came to my mind that, you know, one of the things that we have heard, and we've heard often, and if you haven't, we can hear it again, is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's last sermon, where he had said that take care of the women. And he said this 3 times, take care of the women, take care of the women. And he didn't say take care of your women or take care of that woman or, you know, a specific kind or any ethnicity or anything, you know, specific. He said take care of the women. Yeah. And so when not taking care of the women, it has a huge impact on society. And so women who are giving birth, this is all part of this. This is all part of taking care of women. Yeah. You know, they are the ones that are going to give birth. They are the ones that are going to, you know, be the first teachers. They're going to be the ones that are going to, you know, educate the children first. They're the ones that are going to be teaching. In everything they're learning, the child is going to be imitated first from the mother. Yeah. So it's important to take care of the woman's well-being, happiness, mental state, emotional state. And obviously they're in situations in countries where, as you said as well, in some remote areas where they haven't got all the nutrients they need and stuff. And so Muslim Hand as a charity is at the forefront doing that. Yeah. And alhamdulillah, they got this Mother Kind program that's set up. And, you know, this, I mean, when did it actually start?
In 2011. I think that's a really beautiful point that you made actually about the last sermon and where the Prophet ﷺ mentions about look after, you know, the women, and actually did not know about that. So I think just even thinking about that, I think it's a responsibility, as you mentioned, you know, in Islam, and Allah holds the woman in high regards, as, you know, it's mentioned, you know, heavens, like Jannah lies under the feet of the mother, and also Allah mentions in the Quran about the journey a mother goes through about giving birth. And so these things should not be taken lightly, and as we mentioned previously, these deaths are preventable as well. You know, we shouldn't be overlooking mothers dying because they're not receiving the right support. You know, that's our responsibility as well, you know, working not only in the charity sector, but as women in general to support other women. Unfortunately, yes, the humanitarian crisis in the world is worsening. You know, I think we've seen in the last, since COVID, the amount of emergencies we've seen in the world, both natural and conflict-led, is unbelievable, you know, and statistically 305 million people in the world are in need of humanitarian assistance. And so unfortunately, projects like maternal care are put at the back burner. People are more focused, you know, organisations, funding as well, you know, you've got aid cuts as well, are very much focusing on, you know, emergency-led projects. So that's, you know, mitigating a famine, or if an outbreak of disease comes about, mitigating that. So unfortunately, when it comes to maternal care, it's not really much thought about with those that are able to provide the funding. So that's where charities and organisations like Muslim Hands comes in to provide that support. But what's also really important to point out is when it comes to maternal care, it's something that has to be a long-term project investment, you know, having the right doctors, the right care, the right support network, as we mentioned, community health workers, Muslim Hands, to really reach out to the communities. We work with other organisations, even through our clinic in Yemen. We do work with UNICEF, so if a child is malnourished, we're able to provide further treatment to them if we're unable to do it. So it's a community collaborative effort for us to be able to really make a difference. And you know, for the fact that our faith talks about the importance of women and mothers, you know, it's really our responsibility as well to really get involved.
And it's absolutely great that, you know, the charity Muslim Hand is working in collaboration with other organisations and charities, because you have to. If you want to do it collectively, make an impact, you have to, you know, join hands with others. And you know, it's not always about, you know, you as a charity or anyone going out this solo singly, because it doesn't have a longevity, and you want it to be something that's sustainable, long term. It's not just about leaving a legacy, but you want to make an impact, and you want someone that if you're not around, so someone else can pick up on this and take care of it. We're going to get women giving birth, you know, to the end of time. This is how the world is running. That's just the cycle of life. And so there must have been some other challenges that you must have come across on the ground. Maybe you could share some of that with us.
I mean, for the fact that Muslim Hands has been running for, you know, the Motherkind campaign since 2011, we wouldn't be able to have done that by not working collaboratively with other organisations, but also, as I mentioned, we rely 100% on the donations of our donors. So without them, this project work wouldn't be able to continue. I think the challenges that we've faced is, you know, being able to reach out to more women. I know that I mentioned a year ago, the past year we've reached out to 275,000 women. We want the project work to continue. I think the challenges are donations coming through. You know, the charity sector is changing. You know, there's the cost of living crisis. There's now inflation of our projects as well. So for us, the challenges are to continue the work. You know, we can't let this work stop. If this work stops, then more women will be impacted. So the challenges are just the running of these projects, you know, putting state-of-the-art equipment in these clinics, reaching out to more women. And so, you know, working together is the only way that we can get through this.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is that as believers, we are always giving, and we always remember to give, and we give, you know, sadaqah and zakat and a lot of these things. And this is zakat eligible, right?
Yes. It is,
that's important to know. But even so, sadaqah is accepted. So it's wonderful that there is this Motherkind program running by Muslim Hands. And Saira, it's been great speaking with you. And I really wish you all the best and success in your running this program, and your team and the charity Muslim Hands is doing great work. And inshallah, perhaps we could get you on again and get some footage and see what is happening on the ground and the impact it's having. It would be great. Definitely. It would be really good to see that, actually. But those of you watching, you can be involved with Muslim Hands with this Motherkind program. It is a very noble cause. It's a very much needed humanitarian support that's needed around the world. So you watching at home today, just remember, take care of the women, inshallah. And we are going to be, hopefully we can get a chance to catch up with you again in the near future. Right, so we are now going to be going over for a quick commercial break, and we'll be back after that with much more for you to see. So don't go anywhere. Go grab a cuppa, and we'll see you soon.
Nida Trust presents the National Muslim Teachers Awards 2026.
Good evening and a very warm welcome.
We will start this evening's awards ceremony with a recitation of the Quran.
Allah has created all other creation by just the word kun fayakun, which means be and it is. But there's one creation that Allah has left behind, and that is the human being. And that human being is shaped by Allah's hand.
Being a teacher is a very important responsibility. Teachers guide, support, and inspire others.
The National Muslim Teachers Awards 2026.
Nida Trust presents the National Muslim Teachers Awards 2026.
Good evening and a very warm welcome.
We will start this evening's awards ceremony with a recitation of the Quran.
Allah has created all other creation by just the word kun fayakun, which means be and it is. But there's one creation that Allah has left behind, and that is the human being. And that human being is shaped by Allah's hand.
Being a teacher is a very important responsibility. Teachers guide, support, and inspire others.
The National Muslim Teachers Awards 2026.
Start your day right with the UK's first Muslim morning show, Salaam Britain,
where we dive into the trending stories that matter to you.
Share recipes from around the globe that will ignite your senses.
Celebrate guests that are making waves.
And showcase the diversity that makes our ummah beautiful.
How did you ensure that whatever you're writing is true to the core of a person's experience?
In today's world with so much happening, a lot of people love art, and that's it's an escapism, but it also speaks to deep-rooted need for people to do art, to make art. All the books that I read with Muslim characters, we were always shoved inside a very small, tight box with no room to breathe.
أستغفر الله 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 العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت خلقتني وأنا عبدك وأنا على عهدك ووعدك ما استطعت أعوذ بك من شر ما صنعت أبوء لك بنعمتك علي وأبوء بذنبي فاغفر لي فإنه لا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت خلقتني وأنا عبدك وأنا على عهدك ووعدك ما استطعت أعوذ بك من شر ما صنعت أبوء لك بنعمتك علي وأبوء بذنبي فاغفر لي فإنه لا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت اللهم إني ظلمت نفسي ظلما كثيرا ولا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت فاغفر لي مغفرة من عندك وارحمني إنك أنت الغفور الرحيم أستغفر الله 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 العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت خلقتني وأنا عبدك وأنا على عهدك ووعدك ما استطعت أعوذ بك من شر ما صنعت أبوء لك بنعمتك علي وأبوء بذنبي فاغفر لي فإنه لا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت خلقتني وأنا عبدك وأنا على عهدك ووعدك ما استطعت أعوذ بك من شر ما صنعت أبوء لك بنعمتك علي وأبوء بذنبي فاغفر لي فإنه لا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت اللهم إني ظلمت نفسي ظلما كثيرا ولا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت فاغفر لي مغفرة من عندك وارحمني إنك أنت الغفور الرحيم
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Salaam Britain. And well, it is that time now for our most anticipated segment, Health Talk. So today we're discussing autism and ADHD, two neurodevelopment conditions that are often confused despite having important differences. Understanding those differences can help us break down those misconceptions and create more inclusive schools, workplaces and communities. So joining us once again today is Nathan Nagel, a neurodiversity advocate and co-founder of Neurodiversity Consultancy. Nathan is autistic and joins us to share his lived experience and help us understand better the differences between autism and ADHD. So let's give him a warm welcome. Assalamu alaikum, Nathan.
Walaikum salam, sister.
It's great to see you here again on this this very important subject that we're talking about today. So can you shed some light a little bit about the difference between autism and ADHD?
Sure. Well, first of all, it's on the same genetic profile. So the same genetic components for autism is also on ADHD. Then there's also some overlapping. But how it's presented in terms of how we are as humans is some differences. Now, with autism, there is also a wide variety of presentations because it's called autism spectrum disorder. So it's not just one presentation. So people are very different within autism. And the same is also with ADHD. But there are some quite distinct differences between the two. But it's not so, you are this type, you are that type. Within autism, the developmental part is all around looking at our social interactions and our sensory processing. So social interactions can somewhat be ranging from awkward to not quite understanding what's going on, because there's differences in understanding. IQs, reading what's going on. The sensory issues in terms of autism is a big one. So extreme light, looking at sound, looking at feel, touch. The whole body is different. So it's social process, so it's social cues and sensory for autism. For ADHD, it's more to do with being dysregulated on attention. So interrupting, not waiting, losing focus, constant movement, not paying attention, very, very hyperactive. So they are the same genetic components presented differently, and there can be some overlap. But happy to answer all your questions and to take the audience questions too.
Absolutely. And just before we continue, just a reminder that everything that you're discussing and talking about that's being shared today in this segment is for general educational and awareness purposes only, and it's not intended to replace professional medical advice, diagnosis or treatment. But if you have any concerns about your own health or someone else's, please do seek advice from a qualified healthcare professional. But meanwhile, we'll talk more about it, and then we can open the lines up as well. So tell us some things about how early we can detect these symptoms or signs, and what kind of ages are we looking at?
So the clinical evidence shows that the earliest detection for autism is around 2 to 3 years old, because then you can look in terms of on how the infant is tracking the eyes, on how they are engaging, and whether they're looking at you or not. So this is the earliest detection, is around 2 to 3 for autism. For ADHD, it's a little later, looking at around 5 to 7, which is the earliest. So there are differences in how early you can start to detect it. But it's not so much confirmational, but there's early signs and symptoms around detection between, so autism 2 to 3, ADHD 5 to 7.
I mean, there is this huge question which can, be controversial as well, but it is something we can just discuss and see, what we've, or in your experience that you feel, where does this come from? What are the causes, or how does this come about that one has autism and one has ADHD? I mean, how does this happen?
So the latest evidence shows now it's a mixture of genetic and environmental. So you can be predisposed to something, but the environment, such as toxins, such as drugs, there's a wide variety during pregnancy that can switch a gene on or off. But it's definitely, inconclusively looking at both now. So evidence shows that it's a mixture of genetic and environmental. And the reason we're getting more cases is twofold. One, there's more awareness and diagnosis. And two, there's more environmental pollutants and factors than there ever been before. We live in a toxic world, So therefore, the environment and the genetics produce more.
I mean, in terms of environment, are you talking about in terms of emotions? Are you talking about in terms of food?
Chemicals. So in terms of while a woman is pregnant, yeah, they can be an array of chemicals. So things that's going into the City of London, going like heavy metals, and some kind of toxin can trigger a gene to turn on or off. But it's very rarely just one thing, just the environment or just genetic, because as humans we interact with our environment and our body changes, and so does our pregnancy.
It can vary, really.
It's very and it's very varying in terms of like age, race, and kind of like all of the comorbidities. So it's not one thing. It is a wide variety of factors interplaying together to then say this child is born with autism or this child is born with ADHD. With autism, autism often overlaps with ADHD as well. So around 50% of people with autism also have ADHD. But ADHD is quite a standalone in terms of you can have ADHD without autism.
I mean, you hear a lot of people saying, oh, yeah, you know, I got ADHD or I got this and I got that and stuff, but a lot of that's without diagnosis and stuff. And so there are things out there that can help. That's the good thing. There are things that can help or balance or manage, and you yourself are autistic, and so you're working with high-level professionals and healthcare and in leadership. How do you manage yourself, and how have you, over the journey, progressed and learned about yourself?
It's been a lot of pain, a lot of crying, a lot of getting it wrong, and a lot of learning. So, because then I was not diagnosed until I was 35, and up until that time, I was always going, I don't understand. Why do people not understand? What's the difference? And then having a diagnosis, it's like, oh, this is why I feel the way I do. This is why I see the world I do. This is why pain hurts me more. This is why the lights are bright. This is why the hairdryer, yeah, and the hand dryer in the bathroom deafens me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, why is the world so loud and bright and painful? And it's like, oh, this is why. Oh, like that. So how do I cope? I have to change my environment to pick up early signs on if my body is getting overloaded. So if things are too bright, I put my little sleep mask on to bring down the darkness. If it's too loud, I will put my earphones in. If I'm overstimulated socially, then I will just withdraw, give myself some peace. It's a lot of it is to self-management, but picking up internally, am I reaching a threshold of going up? And it's very difficult with children because they can't do that self-management, which is why you get a lot of meltdowns and overloads, because it takes experience to learn when your threshold is getting up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, I'm 47, that's 47 years practice, but previously I suffered massive panic attacks, meltdowns, because I was just not aware what was going on. I was so overloaded.
Yeah, and as you said, it takes time and experience to understand your own body and how you're reacting to things before you can learn and help yourself. But if we are now seeing somebody that's around us with ADHD, autism, you know, what can we do to try and help?
Well, it's very individual. So often it's asking the person, because then autism spectrum disorder, there's a whole wide range. So then there's all the different presentations, the same with ADHD. So it's really focused on, rather than say, how do we help a person with autism or ADHD, how do I help you? Yeah? What makes you feel anxious? What makes you feel better? What do you enjoy? You know, what calms you down? Yeah? So it's less about the label and more about the person. Yeah?
I mean, yeah, 100%. I guess that's the the most basic thing to do is communicate with the person themselves and see what they need or what you can do to help them. But if they don't know, and what if they can't express themselves, how, as an outsider, can we try and help them?
Observation. So it's trying something. If they cannot communicate their needs to you, then you have to try something and see how they react. So you might try 4 different things, and on the 5th thing, they can physically see that they're calming, then you're learning them. Yeah? If they can't communicate to you, you have to be super observant of how are they reacting to something that you've tried. How are they reacting to a song? How are they reacting to how you approach them? How are they reacting to food? But being super observant to go, what worked and what didn't.
Yeah.
Because it's really really individual. So which is why it's not, this person has autism, this is ADHD. It's kind of like, okay, but what works for them? Because everything works differently for everyone.
Yeah, that's for sure. But don't you find that, Nathan, that, you know, we are now in a time where we're seeing more of this?
Yeah.
And, you know, growing up in my generation, we didn't see much of that. I mean, there were definitely, or maybe there wasn't that much awareness, there was a diagnosis, and maybe the generation before that, even less. Is it because there was less, or was it just because we were lack of awareness and you know, we didn't make these diagnoses? But it just seems so much more prominent. We see you know, adults and children with autism, and a lot of people with ADHD.
Yeah. So statistically, so globally, it's around 1% of society with autism, and around 3 to 5% with ADHD. Yeah. But that is increasing. But for not, you said, is it more recognizing in terms of diagnostics, or is it more causation? It's actually both. Yeah. So global medical society is getting more educated, so there's more diagnosis. But there's also more cases, because as the environment gets more toxic, if you're genetically predisposed, that can be triggered. So it's both factors, which is why it's going up. And then also in an increased media world, we hear about the other people in the world more. So it's threefold, really. It's more diagnosis, more poor environment, more connectivity of we hear more about other people.
I mean, do you think that they could be, if someone hasn't been diagnosed, and I mean, that's the first thing to do is get a diagnosis, but like I said, people loosely say, oh yeah, you know, I think I've got ADHD, oh, I've got this, I've got that. And they could be just mistaking it for, you know, how we are, how we're seeing the dopamine hits of social media, and you know how we're just going from one thing to another. People are less engaged, more distracted, not able to focus even when you're having a conversation with them. People are becoming socially awkward as time goes on. Do you think we're kind of confusing ourselves with what we actually have? You know,
there's somewhat possibility, but it also raises the kind of importance of getting a good diagnosis. But yes, I agree with you that the social media is lending itself to less and less attention.
I mean, to get a diagnosis, you would have to go to your GP, right?
Yes, a formal diagnosis of, formal clinical diagnosis. But also stress, which I constantly talk about throughout the segments, exacerbates, makes worse both autism and ADHD, and a way you could appear ADHD but not. So the stress element drives all of the symptoms and also confuses some of the symptoms in terms of, am I ADHD or am I just hyper stressed? Which then again the social media brings it back in. So stress is something to really address.
So really what we need is stress management, because we're just triggered by
we have
so many things.
We have the Quran, we have stress management.
Yes.
Through all my segments, I will bring it back, because the whole point of Salaam Alaikum is to bring peace upon each other, because peace comes throughout all the different elements of all our health. It's so important. and wishing it upon you genuinely is for our weight management, it's for our neurodivergence, it's for our mental health. It's a thread that goes through all out, which is so important. So as Muslims, we do have this.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and it is a great reminder to for viewers and myself that we do have the Quran, we have all these challenges and answers to a lot of the things that are in the Quran itself, and then obviously we have the example of the Prophet ﷺ, who did treat everybody, all creatures and all beings really well, and so we should be inclusive of that and taking care of one another and ourselves. But yes, stress is a big one. We live in a very fast-paced life, and also a major city, and so everything is very quick and everything is very instant, and so sometimes we also want instant prayers answered, and that these are all again contributing factors to stress. But I guess we have to really pull ourselves out, and this is the challenge, isn't it?
It's a constant theme. It helps. So getting closer to our deen helps with stress, which helps manage the comorbidities and co-symptoms of autism or ADHD, because anxiety drives the meltdowns for both.
Yeah.
And it's learning our body, or if people can't, observing others and supporting them to manage that piece in terms of parental support and peer-to-peer support, our friend support, supporting in that loving, peaceful environment.
Yeah.
And it goes throughout medicine as well.
Yeah.
This is not just Quranic, it's modern medicine support of peace and lowering stress.
And talking of medicine, goes back to food, what we put in our bodies, which is fuel, or that we put in our system, and you know all about that because you obviously have the Sunnah management weight loss programs running very soon. And so again, managing stress, but also what you put inside. And so can you give us some just a few things that we should add that will help
to add in
to help with ADHD or autism? That
it's really eating tayyib. It really is. Everything's sugar and full of huge amounts of chemicals just makes everything worse. Just makes autism worse. Just makes ADHD worse. Just poisons our bodies. It just the whole fast food, junk food, sweet. There's just nothing good in it whatsoever. It makes everything worse. It really is eating whole foods. There's nothing really great, surprising about eating whole foods and eating healthy fats. Nuts, if you're not allergic, avocados, it can either be plant protein or animal protein. Just whole foods is designed to help us. And it's no magic trick, it's just eating normal food that's not full of 1,000 chemicals in the ingredient. It's literally potato. Yeah. Let's have a potato.
Yeah, I mean, there is the option of sweet potato and swapping
that is
it around.
True. The sweet potato is still a real food.
Yes, yeah. So, there are studies, and we've had guests here actually talking a little bit about autism and how actually we before I go on to this, we're going to go for a quick break before I ask this question, and we'll come back to it later. But don't go anywhere, because we've got more to talk about this and more to learn, and so we'll see you very soon.
Assalamu alaikum. We are here today to celebrate the launch of the Amir Abdul Qadir Al Jazairi program.
The military hero, the statesman, an architect of a polity, the consummate diplomat and scholar educator, the Sufi whose life was rooted in the knowledge of God and the embodiment of the noblest human values.
He's
everything that could embody today's Algeria, and he's still and always will remain a great example for future generations of Algerians and of Muslims and non-Muslims across the world.
A figure who has been inspirational, not just to Algerian nationalism, and has had that role for a good century and more, but also to French imperialism.
Nida Trust presents the National Muslim Teachers Awards 2026.
Good evening and a very warm welcome.
We will start this evening's awards ceremony with a recitation of the Quran.
Allah has created all other creation by just the word kun fayakun, which means be and it is. But there's one creation that Allah has left behind, and that is the human being. And that human being is shaped by Allah's hand.
Being a teacher is a very important responsibility. Teachers guide, support, and inspire others.
The National Muslim Teachers Awards 2026.
Five Pillars is not just any ordinary game show. It's a unique platform to deepen our understanding of Islam and strengthen our connection with our faith.
I'm going to win.
50 points. Give that to me.
Oh my God, I don't know.
Pass. Pass as well.
The losing team out that way.
Nida Trust presents the National Muslim Teachers Awards 2026.
Good evening and a very warm welcome.
We will start this evening's awards ceremony with a recitation of the Quran.
Allah has created all other creation by just the word kun fayakun, which means be and it is. But there's one creation that Allah has left behind, and that is the human being. And that human being is shaped by Allah's hand.
Being a teacher is a very important responsibility. Teachers guide, support, and inspire others.
The National Muslim Teachers Awards 2026.
Islam Channel, your gateway to the world of Islam. Inspiring, informing, entertaining. On TV, online, on our brand new state-of-the-art apps, with original content for a Muslim audience and inspirational Islamic programs from all around the Muslim world. Watch live, watch offline, create your playlist, watch across all devices. Download now from wherever you usually get your apps. Islam Channel, watch anytime, anywhere.
How did you ensure that whatever you're writing is true to the core of, a person?
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Salaam Britain this morning, and we are at the moment we're in the segment of health talk discussions on autism and ADHD, and in this conversation I have been speaking with Nathan Nagel, and we were having a very interesting conversation, so we're going to go back to that. And just before we go there, just to let you know, the lines are open to call in and ask any questions, and we are streaming live on YouTube as well. So if you have any questions that you want to send in, this is a perfect time. So Nathan, welcome back again. So we were having a conversation about coping mechanisms and tools and things like that. So is there any practical advice that you could give on this?
I think it's for myself, because it's different ages. So I would say for myself, it's really recognising, or for whoever's listening, recognising when you start to feel early signs of getting overwhelmed. So what little internal triggers do you... So because my arm starts to shake a little, that's my indicator of kind of going, oh. getting a bit too much, a bit bright, a bit loud, a bit over social. There's little body signs which goes on, and rather than ignore it, then I have to go, okay, I need to take myself out of this equation. I need to go somewhere quiet. I need to just... I will often go and have 5 minutes of just closing my eyes somewhere, usually in the bathroom. I'll be like, just go to the bathroom. Yeah? Close my eyes, just breathe. Calm, try to reset the world for 5 minutes. And then do that throughout the day, because I feel myself going like that, and it's like, okay, try to just bring it down.
Yeah,
Breathe.
but this again, we are again, we spoke about this just a little while ago, that we are so distracted. We have so many things to focus on. We're overwhelmed, overstimulated with so many things around us, and we have to make time to just, I know it sounds funny, but just stare at a tree. Just take a pause and just stare at some greens, stare at some nature, and try to not be plugged in with anything external, but everything internal. And that's the only way you know when you're being triggered. And, even if you don't have ADHD or autism, I think hearing your inside voice, we must make time to hear that voice. That's the one voice that we don't make time for enough. Because then you know when something's wrong. It's just like when you go to the gym and you're working out too much and you're going over excessive. How are you going to know you've gone, you're about to collapse if you don't hear your inside voice telling you, okay, hold back now, that's enough. And it is difficult to just kind of switch off from the world outside. But it is important, it's really important to take that time to just do nothing and just be in tune with us. And earlier, again, you gave us a really great reminder about the religion. And I suppose prayer
Salah is designed to give us a break. Salah is so important for ADHD or autism. So important. It really significantly helped my life when I became a Muslim in terms of structured breaks. Yeah. Structured turning my phone off. Yeah. Having the prayer. Yeah. And then also incorporating more little 5-minute downtimes, turning my phone off, closing my eyes and just breathing. Yeah. And again, when we plugged into our salah, we are then, connecting with our creator. And then also that it's a great time to just pause and stop. Turn the phone
off. Yeah.
Turn the phone
we
off.
have, Nathan got somebody on the call, so we're going to have perhaps a question coming in. So let's speak to Brother Hussein. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, brother. Assalamu alaikum, sister. Just want to make basically a comment for all of the parents that are watching. We've got a lot to learn about being human beings on the earth. And anyone who's got a son or daughter who's autistic, mashallah, it teaches us as parents and all of us how to be human. These children have vulnerabilities. And to be honest, they do communicate, they do socialise. I mean, my own son's autistic, and alhamdulillah, whenever it's time to pray, he hears the adhan, and wherever he's upstairs, downstairs, inside, outside, he'll come and stand with me and he'll pray. These children do learn, but it's how you teach them. And I don't think as a civilization or institutions, organizations understand yet how to teach these children how to understand humanity. I mean, we have other, we try and understand physics, chemistry, biology, and economics, politics, but actually what it means to be a human being, I think we've lost our way a bit, and this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's way of teaching us to find our way back again towards, peace.
Yeah, thank you so much, brother, for calling in, because it is important to have somebody with real experience or, coming from their own, what they've gone through. And it's important to know what can we do. I don't know if the brother's still on the line. If you could tell us, what would you like more, brother, for us as humans, as people to see? What would you like more of?
I would just like people to basically understand the human side. I mean, a lot of people say people who are autistic don't like change. But to be honest, a lot of us at the moment in the country don't like change. As voters, we don't like, who's governing the country being changed repeatedly. We want effective governance. So it's a human thing. But because of the pace of life at the moment, things are moving so fast, I think people need to slow down and say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says this. He could have made us all the same. But the reason he made us all different, black, white, or whatever, male, female, is how we support each other. That's the message I wanted to convey to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Brother Hussein. And Nathan, we are comfort creatures, and even if you have, if you're not got autism or ADHD, as humans we like to be in our comforts, and it's difficult for us, so it applies to all of us really. But have you got anything on that to say?
So brother's right in terms of all of it, and his child or children says okay with change, or kind of learning. Autism spectrum disorder is broad, all different. It's really important to understand, all the listeners, that it's not you are this type, you are that type. We're individuals. But one thing is, throughout all of them, what is their need? Yeah? Because what comforts one child and what brings stress down for one child is different to another child. And it's observing and supporting, and it's that network and support and love that Brother clearly shows.
Yeah.
That's the special ingredient.
Yeah. Is the brother still on the line? No? It'd be interesting to know how everybody is managing, because it is such a broad spectrum, and it is about observing and asking them specifically, but sometimes they don't know, and I'm talking
that's the observation part, because
yes.
if they cannot communicate, we've got to pay extra attention, and that means turning the phone off sometimes and really absorbing. So my child is same as me, autistic, so I've had to really pay attention to go what works for her and what doesn't work for her, but to really, really learn and pay attention, because if I was trying to do everything at once, I would miss the cue.
Yeah. I have a child who has ADHD, and in some sense I've had to kind of experiment to see what works for her, and along the way I have picked up some things that have really helped, but I don't know if that necessarily would work for somebody else that's watching today.
Individual.
So, which is, so I know it's an individual thing, but again, I think it's good for people to call in and share what works for them.
I'd love to hear more.
Because
more
we can learn from each other. This is such a huge topic. I don't know if this segment is enough for this alone, but we could learn from one another and try those things out. Because, as I said, for me, a couple of things that I've tried experimenting on my daughter, they have been really, really effective. And it may help somebody watching today. So it'd be good to get more callers in, if we could get people calling in and share their experience with us and what's helped and what would they like for us and the other fellow, people that, for us to learn from, and what would they want from us to make things better and easier.
So ask me any personal questions. I'm very open and transparent about me, my child, on how we are in terms of personal capacity and professional capacity. Very open to hear questions from anyone as well, because I've been through the pain, been through the learning, been through the trial and error, and wanting to share that with support. One element is around work environment, which is the super important. Having a positive work environment that fits is super important. So, for an easy analogy, if an autistic person is circle-shaped, find them a circle-shaped job. Yeah, because putting a circle-shaped person in a square-shaped job is a recipe for disaster. Yeah. So important, especially around work and career, because then we spend a lot of our waking lives in these areas. It's finding that really good fit is so important.
Yeah.
It's what shape am I? What career can I go into for? I'm a circle shaped. What fits for me? And that's part of stress management and part of learning ourselves, and then part of that environment going forward, because then, if I went, say, for more money, but that was a square-shaped job and caused me stress and anxiety, my autism and ADHD would just exacerbate and get worse.
Yeah. And it is difficult. It's really challenging for neurodivergent or ADHD or autistic people because it's not sometimes a physical thing that they can see or as obvious. People are not very understanding. They say that in a work environment, yeah, we're understanding to this, we're open to this, but they're not always accommodating. And this is again speaking from my own personal experience with my daughter. But anyhow, look, we have got some questions coming up on the screen, but I also have been asked to ask again that, you know, when you said you had your diagnosis at 37, and you picked up things like, you know, you don't like this, and certain sounds, certain light, you know, etc. What pushed you to get your diagnosis at 37?
It was a number of different people that said, when were you diagnosed? I haven't been. Yeah, so a lot of different people around me
picked up on
it. And there was like, and I was like, I haven't been. So eventually it was like, maybe I should really go and see somebody. And then everything kind of made sense from there.
But did you know if it's ADHD? Or did you know it's autism? Or when you went for the test, how did you say this? Oh, I think I have autism, or I think I have. How do you know what you had until you had the diagnosis?
That's exactly what I did. I went to my GP, and said, lots of different people now over many years have said, are you autistic? Yeah. So I'm here to start the process of to take the test.
Okay.
Yeah. So first port of call, go to the GP, discuss it, and then it's whatever pathway, you know, from there. And it started from there.
Did any of your teachers or parents pick up on any of your traits? I know you said other people did much, you know, later, but did you, when you were much younger, because now I suppose we're more aware now, and we have an idea about certain things and certain behaviours, and you can see straight away. But did you get any of that when you were a child?
School was very difficult, really very difficult. So part of autism is not being able to hold our bladder. So going to the toilet a lot. So an autistic bladder. So as a child, I'd got my hand up on a constant basis to go to the toilet. But I was just naughty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really needed the toilet. I need to go to the bathroom. And there was like, stop it, you're just being naughty. No, I really need to go. Yeah. Or if I was wanting to do something and I've got a super great interest in that, I've got no interest in that, it was like, do this. I don't want to. Do that. I don't want to. I'll do that. So the school system understands the net effect, but often, unless it's like an exceptional school, interprets it as the child not really fitting in. So it was very difficult for me. It might not be for other people, and alhamdulillah, I wish it's not for other people.
Yeah.
But my personal experience was they interpreted a lot as quite behavioural issues, which I wasn't. I couldn't hold it, and I wasn't interested in that. That was just
and I suppose that generation, our generation, this is a very common thing at the time. Anyone that was doing anything out of the box or extraordinary or different was seen a bit naughty. So you're a naughty child. Well, let's go to that question. Some of the questions that's come in. So somebody has asked, can autism or ADHD be missed in childhood and only become noticeable in adulthood?
I would say missed in terms of missed diagnosis, yes.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Because of the education level, it depends on which environment, which country, which area. It can be missed. It can be misinterpreted as, oh, someone's just this or someone's just that. But absolutely it can be missed. You know, that's why there's professional diagnosis to go, let's get an accredited test.
Yeah, and we have another question actually, which is why do some people struggle to get diagnosis, and what challenges can they face during the process?
The challenges to get a diagnosis is very much where in the UK that you live, resources available, languages, the people with who is your doctor. There's multiple challenges. This is not easy whatsoever. It is not, it's the same for everyone, right? There is challenges, right? But it's also persistence. It's, can it be communicated? Is the GP willing? Is the GP educated? Yeah. What are the resources? What's the time? Is there anyone even available in the area? So it's hard work, yeah. And you just have to persist. But from personal experience and professional experience, there's challenges. So there's huge empathy towards any parents out there that, yeah, and I wish it could be easy for some people. I hope that, but a lot of people do find it challenging. But it's just that persistence of going, I want to do this, I'll find a way.
And so Nathan, you know, going a little bit back again in your own childhood, there were signs obviously there that were missed, and professionals and others, you know, the carers, support, they probably weren't aware as much and didn't know about these things, and it was overlooked. But did you have meltdowns and things like that? And,
absolutely.
Yeah, and so, you know, now parents obviously, I mean, I say we're more informed and more aware, but is this a big sign for parents to ask that, you know, if their children are having meltdown, or is it just, again, you know, they're just having a tantrum or something? I mean, what do we do as parents or as professionals if we see that happening frequently with a child that's not able to express as much?
I would say it comes back to observation. Is there a pattern where and when the meltdown occurs?
Yeah.
So I used to have meltdowns in supermarkets. So, and they thought I didn't like shopping. The fluorescent lights were so overwhelming for me that it would just bring me to tears and a meltdown, because then, like 30 years ago, the fluorescent lights were even brighter, right? So every time they took me shopping, I ended up having a meltdown. I was so overwhelmed with the lights. I just broke down. But then I wouldn't break down somewhere else. So it's looking at the pattern to go, where do these tantrums happen? Where do the meltdowns happen? Because if you can start to pinpoint and say, well, there's a pattern there, yeah, then you can start to look at things. But if it's completely random all over different circumstances, different places, different situations, it might just be that they're upset.
Yeah, again.
But it's coming back to that observation patterns. So like during the end of the day, I would have more meltdowns because my stress has built up, and you explode. Coke bottle effect, it's called. Yeah. So there's patterns, but and that comes back to the education. If it looks all over, it's difficult. But if you start to step back and think, well, when did it happen? Is it the same areas? Is it the same occurrences? That's when that data can start to go, well, that might be autism or that might be ADHD. It's that information with which the healthcare professionals need to understand, because then there's patterns which help diagnosis.
Absolutely. And so it goes back, as you said, to observation and recognising patterns. And then
maybe jotting it down.
Yeah,
you know, just for my child.
Just you're recording it basically.
We have a little diary.
Either
it's
in your diary
the meltdown diary.
Yeah. But look, you know, when you did get your diagnosis at age 37, I don't know if you have siblings or not, but did you share this with them and your family when they came to know? How did they feel about it? Or what did they say?
I would say that my mother was somewhat mixed emotion, because then I never knew, yeah. So it's kind of it's okay, Mum, yeah. You know, there's not the education, yeah. And everyone's like, you're just my little boy. Yeah, I know, Mum. Yeah. My sister was like, you think? Yeah, you reckon? Yeah, it's like, yeah, no surprise there, Sherlock. Yeah. So then
it's a typical it's a typical sibling answer.
Of course, you know, they're like, tell me something new. Yeah. But the mother is, you know, was a bit like, oh, but it was just, yeah, I get it, Mum. You know. So those closest to you that don't have the emotional kind of like bias just go, yeah, we know. Yeah. Now the doctors just put a stamp on it that we knew.
Yeah, I mean it's a funny thing, siblings and what they think. But okay, great. So we have got another question here, which is, what is the difference between having personality traits like being shy, distracted, or highly focused, and having autism or ADHD?
I think there's quite a mix in all that. So you can be shy and be autistic, or you can be shy and have ADHD, or you can be shy with absolutely neither.
Yeah, I mean, I get shy and I'm an extrovert. Yeah. So these things happen. When you say that to people, they find that strange. That how can you, how do you? But anyway,
shy is often described. It's a little feeling of anxiety, because this is what shy translates to. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit of anxiety about being seen or being judged, but it's actually coming back to that is anxiety.
Yeah.
And that anxiety can be felt with autism, with ADHD, or without. So it's, again, overlapping different areas of who we are. It's not just all tied to one or all tied to that.
Yeah. We're on a constant self-discovery journey of life, isn't it? Not only are we trying to figure things out outside, but you've got a whole storm inside of ourselves that we've got to figure out. But anyhow, we have got another question that's come up, which is why awareness and acceptance. Why is awareness and acceptance just as important as diagnosis?
Comes back to stress. It really does, because then the diagnosis can bring peace of understanding, and also for the external support as well. So then the acceptance is okay then. So I've learned that I've got a whole list of things I'm not very good at. And that's okay, yeah, because then I'm autistic and I might not ever be good at some of these things, right? And that's okay. I'm just glad God gave me that I'm good at some things.
Yeah.
So it's kind of celebrating to go, do you know what? I am a circle. I am good at this. I'm not very good at square jobs. Okay. Thank Allah, I've been given something. And we're all great at something.
Yeah,
we're
absolutely.
all great at something.
We're all great at something. And we do have one more question in before we wrap up. And it is it possible for someone to have autism or ADHD and still live a successful and fulfilling life?
Absolutely, categorically, 100% yes.
Oh, that's a lovely question, actually, because it's a much needed question. And a lot of people do question that, if they will have what they perceive to be a normal life. And you're also a fine example of that, who is someone who is autistic and is running a successful business and is an entrepreneur, and many hats you're wearing. But it's great, and you're in leadership roles, working with professionals, and all of that
comes with challenges.
Yes,
but absolutely, it's experience love, experience peace. Yeah, it's kind of what is success. Yeah, but I tell you, love, peace, happiness, fulfillment comes way above finance. Yeah, so what is success? I would argue the first success is family, community, health, and then there can be financial success. But success, for me, how I define it as a Muslim and someone with autism, is health, yeah, family, and peace. And if God desires that it's in our rizq to have money, so be it, great. But I would say that success is having the peace and love.
Wonderful. Well, that's well said there. Thank you so much, Nathan Nagel. It's been great to have this conversation and learn more about ADHD and autism. And inshallah, we will meet again and be talking about other very important topics. But thank you so much. And well, that brings us to the end of today's program. But thank you so much for joining us. We hope you've had a really great time watching and learning the headlines with John Rees earlier this morning. And then we had a conversation with Saira Javed from Muslim Hands about the Mother Kind report, and this week's edition of Health Talk with Nathan Nagel, which was on autism and ADHD. And well, we'd hopefully, if you would like to get in touch with us, whether you have a story to share, a guest to recommend, or a topic you'd like us to cover, we'd love to hear from you. You can email us at sb@islamchannel.tv. But from all of us here, myself and the team, and from Salaam Britain, thank you so much for your company. Take care of yourselves, stay safe, and inshallah we'll meet you again very soon. So, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.